Amud Aleph on the bottom. 120A. On the bottom there's a Mishnah.
128.3.
120A3. Rabbi Shimon ben Anna says, person oil, person if let's say there's a fire, caught fire on a chest, on a cabinet, or on a closet. You let it place hides of a goat. People maybe had a lot of them, and they just threw it on top. Why? It seems like the hide won't burn. It will just get scorched, singed. And therefore, you're not really putting the fire out. You have it, Leo?
The beginning of 128?
No, on the bottom of 120. There's another Mishnah. There's two Mishnayot on that page.
8 lines from the bottom.
8 lines from the bottom.
One 128.5.
Oh, 5. That's right.
Thank you.
So you're allowed to, okay, fine. That's the Pashup shot over here, okay? Lamaisa, the gedi, the hides have moisture, and they're not going to allow the fire to burn through the whole thing. Are you putting out the fire? It would seem now, at this point at least, that you're not. Okay, fine. Now what happened to the muktzah aspect? That you're moving muktzah? Some say you're allowed to move muktzah for fire. Some say you're not allowed to, but we're talking about a certain type of a hide that we said before, you're only allowed to move hide. It's attached to the meat. But this hide, the Tosfos says there is a type that a person designated to use the way it is, just raw. So it wouldn't be muktzah. Okay. But it sounds like you're not putting out the fire. It's just you're preventing the fire from burning the actual closet. Okay? It's gonna ruin the gedi thing. It's not gonna get to the fire, to the closet. We'll see soon that the Gemara is not gonna say like that. The oisem mechitza b'chol kelim, you're also allowed to make a wall to block the fire from reaching its intended path. Whether they're filled with water or whether they're empty, so that the fire cannot pass. He says, new earthenware kalim that are filled with water they're not going to be able to deal with the heat, and they're going to burst, and the water is going to come out and put it out. Aha! So you're causing extinguishing. That's the Isur of Shabbat, is kibui. Mechabeh. Mechabeh means to extinguish, to put out a fire. Right? Like the firemen in Israel called Mechabeh Ish. Right? They extinguish fires. So, I think they are, right? So you're not allowed to do anything that might end up causing it to be extinguished. The Tana Kamo, however, he didn't have a problem with it. That's what it seems like. I mean, says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, Talit she'achaz ba'ur mitzad echad notin alei mayim mitzad acher. V'im kavta kavta. If you have a talit that caught fire on one side, you let it pour water on the other side of it. I didn't put out the fire. The talit is burning over here. I put water on this side of it. So when it gets there, it will go out. Now there's a different issue that you're washing. You're not allowed to soak clothing in water, because shriyasoy zuhi kibusay. It's a Gemara in Zvachim. Soaking it is its cleaning. So there's a machlokes rishonim if that applies to clean talesim. A clean talit, you're not You're not washing, you're not cleaning if you put it into water. Because it's clean already. So if you hold it, it's that you're allowed to do it if it's clean, so that we could say that it's talking about a clean talit. So we don't have that's not an issue here. The only issue would be extinguishing the fire, and that you're not doing because you're putting it on the other side. Tosfot asked this question right here on this little Tosfot, and he says that Tosfot seems to be going that it's a problem, even by a beged naki, even by a clean beged. So Tosfot says it doesn't really mean on the actual talit. It means, let's say it is the talit, and it's burning, so what you do is you put water over here. Not on the talit itself, you don't want to be over on. Now, by the way, you have to make split decisions over here. You have to know Hilchot Shabbat like this. It's to be coming out of you. This Tosfot has to be coming right out of you. Otherwise, what are you going to say? Wait, am I allowed to do that? Isn't there any other issue? And say, let me go to the neighbor. He knows the halacha. I'm going to ask him. It's over. This parak doesn't allot you any time for Hilchot Shabbat. No books, no Googling, no rabbis, nothing. This parak, you got to know. The fire.
So there's a talit on one side. Is it burning or is it not burning?
Yeah, it's burning. It's burning. So what are you going to do? You want to put the fire out. So you put water either at the end of the other talit, the other end of the talit, or near the talit. So it'll go out. As long as you don't directly extinguish it. Okay? Says the Gemara, Meitvei. I have a problem with that. With what Rav said. Meitvei talit she'achaz ba ha'ur mitzad echad poshta u'mitkaseh ba. V'im kavta kavta v'chein tzev Torah she'achaz ba ha'ur poshta u'koreh bo v'im kava kava. So the problem is that the Braita doesn't say that you're allowed to pour water and indirectly extinguish it. The Braita there says that if your talit or chas v'shalom your sefer Torah is burning, what you do is you open it up and read it, or you open it up and you extend it open and you put it on. You wear it. Now, by the way, the Farshim say that you don't have to read it. It's not like a requirement. You have to make pretend that you're reading it, or you have to make pretend you want to wear it, the talit. It just means you could do whatever you want. The point is, don't indirectly extinguish it. This is like a step lower than indirectly extinguish it. Pouring water next to it or at the other end of it is indirectly extinguishing it, because I'm doing an act of I'm putting water somewhere which extinguishes things, just not directly onto the fire. But the Braita over here doesn't allow you to do that. The Braita takes it one step less. The Braita says you could open it up. You could open it up. Look, people open up the talit like to wear. That's what it means, and you should wear it. First, you don't have to wear it. It means you could wear it if you want. Open it up, because that's normal. Oh, well, a lot of times when you open up a thing that's burning, so the fire will go out. The Sefer Torah is burning, chas v'shalom. So you roll it open, and it will go out. It won't get enough oxygen, whatever it is. So that's not even indirectly extinguishing it. Says the Gemara, so how could Rav allow you to do a step higher, which is really indirectly extinguishing it by pouring water on the other end of it? So the Gemara says, Hu de Omar ke Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas. He's going like Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas. What did Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas say in our Mishnah? He started off our Mishnah, and he said you could put the gedi, right? So he holds of gram kibui. Gram kibui, we're going to use that language a lot over here. Gram means causing, which means it's indirect. It's only a cause. It's not direct. Kibui is extinguishing. So Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas holds gram kibui is mutar. So the Gemara says, wait, that's what Rav is going like. So you're making a machloket to Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas in the Braita. Ein bedam Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas tiftei shu mecharech. Gram kibui mi amar. Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas didn't say you let him indirectly put out a fire. He said that the hide is mutar because the hide will get singed, scorched, but the hide will not allow the fire to burn the actual chest that it's covering. But he didn't say you're going to put anything out. Okay? So the Gemara says yes. Yes, he did. In Midikatoni says Rabbi Yossi Ose B'chli Cheres Chadosh Malei Mayim She'ein Yuchrin LeKabel HaSa'ur Ve'im is back in the Mechabenes Adleiko. Since Rabbi Yossi said at the end of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi was the dissenting view in the Mishnah. First was Rav Shimon ben Nanas, and then the Mishnah said you're allowed to make a wall of barrels because you're not doing anything, even if they're full. And Rabbi Yossi says new earthenware kalim, since they're brand new, they can't take the heat, and they're going to burst open. And if they're filled with water, you're going to indirectly, by placing them there, cause an extinguishing. That's asur. That means that the first view, which is Rav Shimon ben Nanas, holds it's mutar. So forget about the gedi. We're talking about the next part of the Mishnah, clearly says that the barrels that are full, according to Rav Shimon ben Nanas, are mutar to be placed there. So you see that he does hold the gram kibui is mutar, and that's who Rav, that allowed you to pour the water at the end of the talit, is going to hold like, and therefore the Braita that said that you have to open up the talit or open the Sefer Torah and didn't allow one to pour water, that's like Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah, but Rav went like Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas. Okay, so there's a machloket over here, Rabotai, if gram kibui is mutar or not. That's what it seems like. Says the Gemara, Ton Rabbanon. There's a Braita that says like this: Ner shagabi tavla minaret tavla, v'ino felet v'im kavta kavta. You have a ner, a lamp with fire in there. You want the board, so you're not allowed to move the lamp away because it's muktzah. So therefore, what you do is you take the tiltul min atzad, you move it from the side, which means indirect moving. Let's say this is the lamp, lit up, and this is the board. I want to use this board. So I slip it from underneath. This will fall. It says the bright. If it goes out, it goes out. No problem. No problem. Why? So I didn't do muktzah because I'm indirectly moving it. I'm not moving it directly. That's an isur derabanan. You're not allowed to move things that are muktzah. I'm not doing extinguishing either because I'm not directly extinguishing it. If it goes out, it goes out. Okay? There's another problem. If you put the lamp, you didn't forget it there on Shabbat. You wanted it there at the onset of Shabbat. At the beginning of Shabbat, I did want it here. It's not like, oh, why did I leave that there? I wanted to use this board. It was, I put it here, I want to use this board. Then this becomes a basis, and it gets the law, since it's serving the muktzah, and it gets the halacha of the ner, and it becomes muktzah like the ner. So then you can't do it. Okay, that's Braita number one. Braita number two, Tana, ner she'achori hadelet. You have a lamp behind the door. Okay? Potech v'no'el kedarko. So, you're allowed to open the door and close it. By the way, closing, what's the problem with closing? The point is, it doesn't mean closing. It means you're open and close. It means you're allowed to do normal usage. That's what it means. V'im kafta kafta. If it goes out, it goes out. Okay? Why? Because you don't. What are you doing, Rabbatai? You're not intending to put out fires here. You're intending to get the board. You're intending to open the door. The wind comes in and blows out the fire. I didn't want that. I didn't have that in mind. Okay. Light Allah Rav. Rav cursed anybody who ruled like this. Very strong story. He seems very upset about this psak. You're allowed to open a door if the wind is going to come in and turn the fire out. Either Ravacha, the son of Ravina told him, or he himself told Ravashi, my time would lie to Rav. Either Mishum the Rav Sav like Rabbi Yehuda, Betanak Tani like Rabbi Shimon, Mishum the Rav Sav like Rabbi Yehuda called the Tani Rabbi Shimon, if you're going to tell me that Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda that says that a davar she'eno mitchavem, like we have throughout the whole Shabbat, is mutar. Right? Again, what does that mean? That a lamp, not a lamp, any act on Shabbat that you don't intend to do the Isur, it's Asur. And that's why Rav is upset, because right? Even though you didn't intend it to go out, but if it goes out and you caused it, that's a problem. Okay, so that psak, anybody who rules like that psak is going like Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon says, "A davar she'eno mitchaven." That's not my intention. I'm trying to just get out of my house. I want to open the door. So that's mutar. So because anybody that doesn't go like you and not like you to go like Rabbi Shimon, now you're going to curse. Okay, you want to go like Rabbi Yehuda, you hold that you should pass like it, but other Amoraim have the right to pass like Rabbi Shimon. It's not like there's a Tana like them, Rabbi Shimon. So Amalei beho afilu Rabbi Shimon moeded. Habai v'rova da'amit havei moeded Rabbi Shimon b'psik reishav le'yamot. Right? This might be like the 7th time. And it was after we had this same. We have it every month, right? A few times. Where Abai and Rava say together, when did Rabbi Shimon argue with Rabbi Yehuda about Eino Mitchaven? Only by regular Eino Mitchaven, where it's not inevitable. But where it's inevitable, Psikre Shav Lo Yamut, which is the classic case, you're going to cut the chicken's head off and it's not going to die. Which means if you do an act which will inevitably cause another act, that's, even Rabbi Shimon is modeh, it's as if you intended to do that act. You can't say, I didn't intend it. You knew it will happen. That's the simple way to understand this Gemara. It means that you could consider it like you did intend it. So therefore, that's why Rav was upset, because Rav has nothing to do with Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. Even Rabbi Shimon will be modeh that it's like you intended to put the fire out because it's inevitable. Omer Rabbi Yehuda, okay. Potech Adam delet kneged medura b'Shabbat. A person's allowed to open a door opposite a bonfire, like a furnace fire, like a fireplace. It's much larger. There, a little opening of so the Gemara says, Layit aleh Abaya. Here Abaya was upset at the psak. He cursed. V'mayaskin. It says the Gemara, what are we talking about? Ilema beruach v'tzuya my time demand osar. If it's just a normal wind, okay? So, what's the problem? A normal wind doesn't usually put out such a fire. So therefore, a normal wind it's not inevitable that it's going to put out such a fire, so why can't I open it up? And if it's a very, very windy out there, it's not a normal wind, right? It's 30 mile per hour winds coming. So, why would anybody say it's mutar? It's for sure going to put the fire out. So the Gemara says, La'olam beruach metzuya. We're talking about a normal wind. But a buyer didn't like the psak because he said we should make a gzeirah. Don't open such a door because if you're allowed to open doors opposite bonfires, then you're going to open it up one day when there's a little bit of a tropical storm too. You're going to go to the synagogue to pray. You're going to open the door. I never heard there was any issue. I had the rabbi eat here many times, and he saw the fireplace was right opposite the door. He opened and closed it. Yeah, because there was a normal night. But he wouldn't have allowed it tonight. So therefore he makes the gzeirah that you're never allowed to have strip fire there. And if you do, you can't open the door. What happens to the rest of Shabbat? So you have to pray at home? Yeah. Go out the window. Somewhere else. And the other one says we don't make a gzeirah. Okay. So the Gemara says like this. Osin mechitza. We had a machloket in the Mishnah. Are you allowed to make a wall, a barrier wall of barrels that are filled with water? And Rabbi Yossi said, you can't do it. The Tanna Kama said you could. Rabbi Yossi said you can't do it with brand new earthenware kelim because they might burst and the water, so you're indirectly extinguishing. Says the Gemara, "L'meimer d'Rabbanan sabri gram kibui muter, Rabbi Yossi said gram kibui aser." Is that to say that the machloket is, are you allowed to extinguish something indirectly with grama? That's the machloket. Rabbanan, they're calling Rabbi Shimon bananas to Rabbanan. Okay? We pass like him. So the Gemara says, one second. That's the machloket. We actually found the machloket to be the exact opposite in the Braita. Listen to this Braita. You're allowed to make a wall with empty barrels or with filled ones that don't normally break because of the heat of the fire. The elu melein shein darken lishtaber klei matachot. And which barrels that get filled will not break? Metal ones. So here the Tana Kama is allowing only metal ones. Not what we said in the Mishnah, which inferred that he allowed even new earthenware ones. Rabbi Yossi Omer, af klei kfar shichin u klei kfar chananya in dark lishtaber. You could take from these two villages, they have earthenware kelim, klei cheres, that their earthenware is very, very strong, and it doesn't burst. Okay? So now here we see clearly, in this Braita, the Tana Kama and Rabbi Yossi hold that gram kibbutz is asur. They both agree that you got to have one that won't burst. Okay, so first of all, it's a problem with the Tana Kama, because by us the Tana Kama said, let it burst. Gram kibbutz is mutar. Second of all, over here, Rabbi Yossi is the one that's more lenient. He's like, oh, I know places you can even use earthenware, you don't even need to use metal. In our Mishnah, he was the more machmir one. So what's going on? Both shitot don't work. So here's the plan. But the plan is not going to work. But the Gemara says maybe the plan is like this. That really turn around the shitot in our Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi is the one that allows it because he holds gram kibbutz is mutar. And the Rav Shimon ben Nanas is the one that says that if it bursts open and it's indirectly going to extinguish it, it's asur. And then Rabbi Yossi in the Braita, which was more lenient, is saying like this: look, I hold that you're allowed to fill up anyone even if it's going to burst. But according to you, that you hold it can't burst because gram kibbutz is asur, you should at least include, besides metal kalim, you should at least include in your list from Kfar Chananya and Kfar Shichin. Because those don't even burst. I hold you could burst, because we're changing around the Shitot and Mishnah. The Gemara says you can't do that. Because of me matzis afchasa, you can't turn around the Mishnah. Because Rabbi Bar Tachlifa said in the name of Rav, we have a Mistorah, we have a tradition from Rav, that you should know the one that holds gram kibbutz also is Rabbi Yossi. It means that Rav never changed around any Mishnah. So we're back to the problem here. Don't change anything around. The whole Braita is Rabbi Yossi. It's not a machloket. And this is the way you read, but it's missing some words in the Braita. It's missing words. This is the way you read it. You're allowed to make a wall with empty vessels to block the fire. And with filled vessels that have liquid that don't normally break. These are the ones, klei matachot, uklei kfar shichin, uklei kfar chananya, all of those. Nami ein darkan lishtaber, Rabbi Yossi Omer, because Rabbi Yossi once told us, av klei kfar shichin, uklei kfar chananya, ein darkan lishtaber. So basically, this Braita is only allowing a wall that will not burst. What is included in that? It's only one sheet. It's not a machloket, either klei matachot or you add these. It's klei matachot and these, because Rabbi Yossi once told us these don't break. But if they break, of course Rabbi Yossi doesn't allow it. Like in our Mishnah. Fine. Says the Gemara, the problem is, V'rami d'Rabbanon ad d'Rabbanon, v'rami d'Rabbi Yossi ad d'Rabbi Yossi. So now, just for the next question, the next Gemara is extremely interesting. You have the Rabbanon that hold gram kibui, mutar. That's Reb Shimon ben Nanas. Take a thing, big barrel filled with water. It might burst. Better, let it burst. It will put it out. You can make a wall of water basically around it. Rabbi Yossi says no way. You can make a wall of barrels. They don't directly extinguish the fire. They just don't allow the fire to pass through. That's okay, but indirect extinguishing is asur. Says the Gemara, we have a Braita with Rabbanan and Rabbi Yossi that seem to indicate the exact opposite in their views. Listen to this Braita. Harei shaya Shem katuv lo al b'saro. Harei ze lo yechotz v'lo yasuch. Someone has the name of Hashem, okay, on his flesh. How did it get there? Who knows? It doesn't matter. It's there. He cannot go into the bathhouse and he cannot smear anything on his flesh because he cannot rub out the name of Hashem. It says, "V'ibadatem et shemam." You have to erase the names of the avodah zarah. Lo ta'asum ken la'Hashem elokechem. Don't do that to Hashem's name. Okay, so you're not allowed to erase Hashem's name. So now we're not talking about a tattoo of some guy who wasn't religious before with the name of Hashem. People have that because that won't come out. That won't get erased. Talking about it, there's ink. Okay, there's ink over there, and going into the mikveh is going to extinguish it. Not extinguish it, erase it. Yeah. He's also not allowed to stand in a place where it's dirty, where there's tzoa or meraglayim or very bad smelling garbage, because also the kedusha of the name of Hashem. There's damlo tefillah shel mitzvah, but if he has a tefillah of a mitzvah, let's say he has tumah, so now there's a mitzvah to remove the tumah. He wraps some grass, some reeds, some sort of thing that grows around it, and he goes down and he's tovel. Okay? So seemingly right now, the Gemara is going that this is going to protect the ink from not getting erased. Rabbi Yossi says like this: you don't have to, you can always go into the mikveh as long as you don't go ahead and rub it. So what does Rabbi Yossi hold here? That gram mechika et Hashem, caught in indirect, just causing, it's going to get erased, is okay. Not like our Mishnah. In our Mishnah, he said, it's not okay, because it might burst, even though it's indirect. And the Rabbanan over here, they say, oh, you got to be careful, even indirect. Now, why is it indirect? Isn't it direct? When you walk into the mikveh, it's direct. So, no, what I'm saying, but why is this a question? It's a situation where the Gemara is comparing to an indirect erasing. Why is it indirect? It's direct. Right when you walk in the mikveh, it goes. So, some say, because Chazon Ish says, it's not going to come out right away. Talking about an ink that when you walk out of that mikveh, it's still there. The name Yud Kei Vav Kei is still on the person's skin. It's just that now that it's wet, within an hour from now or at some point, it's going to then dissolve. Okay? So it's not direct. I didn't directly go in and erase it. I went to a mikveh, I didn't erase anything. But that indirectly will cause it to be erased. So here we see that Rabbi Yossi is saying, go ahead, no problem. As long as you don't do it with your hands. And the Rabbanan are saying, no, indirectly it's going to be erased, don't do it. So it's exactly a reverse of their shitot in our Mishnah. Right? So that's what the Gemara says. That's the Gemara's kasha. By the way, even the Chachamim allow it if it's for Tzorach Mitzvah. So the Gemara says like this. This is the answer. Shani hatam the amakra v'ibadatem et shema men hamakom ha'om lo ta'asum ken la'Hashem elokechem. Asiu da'asur gramashari. The pasuk specifically uses the word lo ta'asun. What does ta'asun mean? To not do. It's a very direct averah. It doesn't say don't make that happen, right? It doesn't talk about the result. It talks about the action. The action has to be a real action, direct. which is mashma that only the asiyah is going to be astur, but the grama, an indirect cause, is going to be okay. So the Gemara says, Ihachi, if ta'asun, if that's why Rabbi Yossi is so lenient in that story, because the Torah only prohibits direct erasing, but indirect erasing is okay. So here too by Shabbat he should also say that. Hachanami k'tiv lo ta'aseh kol melacha asiyahu daster grama shari. Rabotai, what does it say here? It says by Shabbat, do not do melacha, which would infer that any melacha on Shabbat that is only indirectly caused should be mutar. So Rabbi Yossi should say the same thing here. So why is he so strict with the barrels that are full? So the Gemara says, no, it's a new reason. The Gemara says, you're right. You're 100% right. Even Rabbi Yossi in our Mishnah allows gram kibui. And gram melacha on Shabbat is mutar according to Rabbi Yossi, just like the Chachamim. But Rabbi Yossi is worried about the gzeira that we had at the beginning of the perek. If you go ahead and allow a person to extinguish his fire with all these walls of water, and if they're going to burst, he's going to be so excited and so in a frenzy. He's going to act so in haste that he's going to end up going and directly extinguishing the fire. So it's a gzeira. Okay? He put up a different wall. The other fire, the fire of Isur Shabbat, he didn't allow you to put up this wall. Okay? That's Gzeira. So the Gemara says, Yihochi kasha de Rabbanan ad Rabbanan. So now what's found the Rabbanan? So what's found? Reb Shimon ben Nanas in our Mishnah, he says there's no Gzeira even though a person is acting in haste. Right? Even though a person's he's going to lose all his money. He gets into a panic about his money. They say, no problem, take barrels filled with water, put them there. There's no gzeira on that. But when it comes to the Shem Hashem in the mikveh, where nobody's going to lose any money, everything's calm, nobody's acting in a panic, guy's going down to the mikveh very calmly, there, they don't allow him. There they don't allow him unless he puts a reed over it. So the Gemara says, the Tizbara, says the Gemara, do you really think that's the reason why they're telling you to put the grass over it? Let's talk about this grass, says the Gemara. If it's tightly put around, like it's so tight that the water is not going to be able to get to the name of Hashem, so then you don't get a good, what are you going into the mikveh for? You're not going to get an immersion because you have a chatzitza, you have an interpose. You have to get your whole body in. If a little finger is sticking out, call it a chatzitza. So what are you going to tell me? No. It's like loose. The water's going to get in. If the water's going to get in, what are you gaining? Eloi mehadik, ayle beimaya. So then what are you gaining? You're still indirectly erasing it because the water's going to erase it, says the Gemara. So the Gemara says, chatzitza, typically mishum dioy. The Gemara interjects for a second. The Gemara says, who says there's going to be a chatzitza? You're telling me the chatzitza is going to be, if you do it really tight, it's chatzitza, because it's tight, it's not allowing the water. The ink itself of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, or another name that you're not allowed to erase, is going to be the chatzitza itself. Here's the chatzitza. So the Gemara says, belacha. We're talking about, it's like wet ink. If your ink is still wet, only when it's dry is it considered like something else. But if it's still wet, it's not considered a chatzitza with the water. It becomes like one. So therefore, back to the kasha. Mikol makim kasha. There's still a kasha. How is this bandage going to allow the chachamim to let him in? Meaning the Gemara is trying to tell you there's something else going on here that you're missing. Because if you really think that you understand this, and therefore you're asking kashas on the Rabbanon, you say, oh, how does it work with the Rabbanon in our Mishnah? Kal v'chomer, over here there's Baal al-Maynor, they don't make a gzeira. Over there for sure. The Gemara is showing you, you're missing something here in the whole story. There's some piece that you didn't get. And I'll prove it to you, says the Gemara. Because if it's tight, it's a chatzitza. If it's not tight, you didn't gain anything, the water's going to erase it. So the Gemara says, Elo Omarov Barav Shilo, Hainu Tamayu Darabono Dekosavri Osalame B'fnei Hashem Oroi. The reason why they tell you has nothing to do with erasing. You're not allowed to go into a mikveh. You know why? Of course they agree with Rabbi Yossi. Gram mechika is mutar. It's only a causing. They're just like our Mishnah and Kal Vachomer from our Mishnah. They're not even gozer when there's a reason to make exer. They're not gozer. It's a whole different reason. You know why you're not allowed to go into a mikveh if you have the name of Hashem? Because you're standing unclothed in front of the name of Hashem. When you go to the mikveh, right? So,
let me ask you, sorry. So these people have like tattoos on their arms or something. What do they do?
Oh, okay, very good. Or for standing in front of it.
Oh, they have their name. They have their name of Hashem on their arm.
I don't know what they do. Let's see. Let's go right there a little bit.
You go in the mikveh. You're naked. What do you do?
Well, every time you take a shower, you might have to put a bandage on it. The point is that when a person is, it says, Ki Hashem Elokecha mitalech b'kerev machanecha v'hayam machanecha kadosh v'lo yireh b'cha evad davar. You can't see evad davar. You can't see unclothed nakedness from the man. When Hashem is there, so it means the person is not allowed to stand unclothed in front of the name of Hashem. I don't know what to do. I think that, no, so that's what the Gemara is saying, that when he goes to the mikveh, the Chacham are saying, put a bandage around it. That's what you should do.
But not so tight so the water can still reach, right?
Exactly. But not so tight, we're going to say it's not so tight, but the purpose is that it's at least it's covering. Now, what does Rabbi Yossi hold? Now we're going to have to explain Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says, person could always, well, by the way, except for a mitzvah, okay, we'll see it. The Gemara is going to go through the whole thing. And Rabbi Yossi is no problem. Why? That's the Gemara's next kasha. Michlal de Rabbi Yossi Sava Mutter Lamad B'fnei Hashem Arom. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? So Rabbi Yossi allows it? It's a pasuk. Everybody agrees with this. You're not allowed to stand unclothed in front of the name of Hashem. So the Manach Yodei Levei. So you're going to say that Rabbi Yossi holds that of course you can't have the name of Hashem in front of his Aroim, but Rabbi Yossi is talking about it. He goes like this. He goes into the mikveh with his other hand on it. What do you need this bandage for? That's the machlokes. Nothing to do with erasing the name. Everybody holds that's fine because it's indirect. It's only going to happen an hour later. It's going to get wet. That's not machlokes. The machlokes is, do you have to put a bandage on it? You have to put a bandage on it. According to the Chacham, only when you have a mitzvah are you allowed to go do it, if there's a bandage. And the Rabbi says, you can always do it, and just put your hand on it. So the Gemara says, so why can the Rabbanon agree with Rabbi Yossi? What do they need a bandage for? How can they just put a hand? What's the machlokes about? So the Gemara says, because they're worried that a guy, the whole, like David asking, the whole shower, the whole mikveh, he's going to be like this. What's he doing the whole time? It's very difficult. So he might forget and take his hand away. So then why does Rabbi Yossi argue? Rabbi Yossi should also be worried about that. It's common to forget. The Gemara says, so the Gemara is like this. Rabbi Yossi agrees that if you have a bandage, you got to put the bandage on. Because you might forget. The machloket is, Rabbanon Tzavi, Tefillah Bizman Alav Mitzvah Umehadrinon. Rabbi Yossi saw a Tefillah Bizman Alav Mitzvah V'loi Mehadrinon. The guy, we're talking about a case where the guy has a mitzvah to immerse himself because he's tamei. So there's a mitzvah to get himself tahor. So the Chachamim say, look, getting tahor as quickly as possible, that's called in the Gemara language, Tvila Bizmana, in its time. Because the pasuk says, "V'haya lifnot erev yichatz b'mayim." If a person sees, for example, on a mission, right, from Kerry, so the halacha is he go to the mikveh today, and then at night, when night falls, he's already 99% tahor, and then he's missing a little residue of tumah. It's called tevul yom. At night, when the 3 stars come out, he can eat trumah if he's a kohen. Okay, so it says, "V'haya lifnot erev," when it's getting near evening, yichatz b'mayim, he shall immerse in the water. So the Chachamim say it doesn't mean that you should. You could go tomorrow if you want to stay Tamei. You go the next day. If you do, you'll become Tahor when the night falls, because then 3 stars. It's like the quickest way. That's what Torah is saying. So therefore, since you have time, there's no emergency, there's no urgency in this story. So don't go to the mikveh if you don't have a bandage. Say, well, I want to get it today, the first time, because an hour ago the guy saw the emission. I want to get it before the nightfall. What's your rush? You know what could happen if you go into the mikveh? If you forget to keep holding your hand, you're going to expose the name of Hashem to Ervat Davar. So wait till tomorrow, till the guy from the other village comes with the reed bandages, whatever, till you go to the pharmacy. By the way, there's no, I can't get to the pharmacy till tomorrow. Okay, fine. So wait, because it's not a mitzvah. So therefore, they say in the Braita, you need to wear the bandage. And even if it's today, but Rabbi Yossi says no. Tefillah bizman mitzvah. Tefillah, to get a tefillah today, he reads it, you should try to become tahor as fast as you can. Okay? Therefore, he says, if you don't have a bandage now, if you have, he agrees, you have to put the bandage on, because you might forget. If you don't have the bandage, and you have a mitzvah, then put your hand on it and go in. It has nothing to do with our sugya of gram kibui. Okay. So the Gemara says, one second. It's a beautiful pshat, but the problem is, Yisov Rabbi Yossi Tfilu Bizman HaMitzvah Ve'otanya Hazov Ve'Hazov Ve'HaMitzvah Ve'HaMitzvah Az Boil Nidu Tmei Meis Tfilason Bayoim. A Zov and a Zdava are a male and a female that see emissions that come from them, which are not normal, and if they see them for a few days, 3 times, then they have to wait 7 clean days. What happens if their 7th clean day falls out on Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to wash yourself, right? You're not allowed to go into a mikveh. But since they're going into the mikveh not to clean themselves, not for the enjoyment, the Istur is for the enjoyment of washing, but it's just to remove tumah, just like if a person gets some mud on his hand, he's allowed on Yom Kippur to wash it, right? You're allowed to wash it off because it's not for the enjoyment of feeling extra clean, it's just to remove dirt. So here too, if their 7th day fell out on Yom Kippur, and it was the morning of Yom Kippur. Now the 7th day, a part of the 7th day, is already like the whole 7th day. So, and a mitzorah also waits 7 days, a mitzorat. Boel nida, someone who had relations with a nida, so he himself becomes tamei for 7 days. If his 7th day fell out on Yom Kippur, he's also allowed to go to the mikveh. Tmei mate, yesterday's parsha. If a person is tamei to a met, right? Becomes impure to a met. 7th day, he goes to the mikveh. But nida v'yoledet tfilatan balayla. The halacha is by a nida herself, not someone that lived with a nida, and a yoledet, a lady who gave birth. The Torah there says shivat yamim tiyeh benidata. Okay, she shall be in her nida state for 7 days. So there, that extra word tihiyeh, she shall remain, teaches us that she's not allowed to use the normal rule of miktat hayom kekulo, and she goes in the morning. She has to complete the whole 7th day. Okay, and a yoledet is a hekesh to nida, so it's the same halacha. So therefore, let's say erev Yom Kippur, during the daytime was the 7th day. So they go at night. They can go to the mikveh at night time, Yom Kippur. Balkeri, a man who saw an emission on Yom Kippurim, Yeah, he doesn't have to wait 7 days. He could go right away. Let him go the whole day. The whole day means even after mincha. Now we're going now with the opinion that holds that Ne'ilah, Rav's opinion in Yuma is that Ne'ilah, can be prayed at nightfall, okay? Just remember that for a minute. So the Tana says you can go to the mikveh the whole entire day, no problem. Rabbi Yossi says once it's already after mincha, after you prayed mincha, doesn't have to go to the tefillah in Yom Kippur. He can wait till the night. Why? Because Rabbi Yossi says like this, what's the rush? Where are you rushing? Tefillah bizmana. You want to get tefillah on the day that you became tamei? It's not a mitzvah. Therefore, you don't have to go on Yom Kippurim itself. So push it off to after Yom Kippurim. You're going to say, now what's the problem with this guy? Why do you have to go to the mikveh at all? Because we're going, this bright is going when there's still Tefillat Ezra. You're not allowed to say words of Tefillah or Torah without immersing. So you're going to say, wait, he has to go today because he didn't pray Ne'ilah. I told you, Ne'ilah could be at night, after nightfall. Fine. So this guy should wait. So here we see that what? That Rabbi Yossi is the one that holds Tefillah Biznana is not a mitzvah. We were trying to explain Rabbi Yossi that he holds Tefillah Biznana mitzvah, so there's an urgency for you to go to the mikveh now. So if you don't have a bandage, just go and cover your hand. Because you have an urgency. But now we see he doesn't know that. So the Gemara says, I hear Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehudi, the Omer Daya Tefillah B'Achrayna. So the Gemara says, that Rabbi Yossi in that Braita was not Rabbi Yossi, it was Rabbi Yossi but Rabbi Yehuda, which said elsewhere, Daya Tefillah B'Achrayna. That's a very complicated case, Daya Tefillah B'Achrayna. I'll just tell you, the basic story is like this. A lady lost a baby. Okay? And now when you lose a baby, it's like giving birth to a baby that you're tamei for 7 days for a male and 14 days for a girl. Whatever you gave birth to. But she doesn't know what she lost, if it was a male or a female. So she also doesn't know if at the time that she lost it, she was a zava. She was seeing zava, which requires another tefillah of zava. So you have to go at the end of 7 days and at the end of 14 days and at the end of 21 days, because it could be you had a girl, so you're 14 for the girl, and then you have to wait another 7 after that for the zava. And there's all these sorts of different, it's not our sugya, so I'm not going to go through the whole cheshbon. It's very hard. It's a mathematical thing. It will take 3 minutes to explain all the different svekot that can end up happening. And one man Madir says, 35 times you have to go to the mikveh. Why? Because you always have to go on the right day. Why can't I just go after everything and I go in twice, once for this and one tefillah for that? See, he says no, because if it's this day that you have to go now, because you have to do it as fast as you can, because it's a mitzvah. Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda says no. One at the end. See, his name is Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. So therefore it makes sense to say that this Rabbi Yossi is Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, but it's not Rabbi Yossi, our Rabbi Yossi, which is Rabbi Yossi ben Tachlafta maybe? Who's our regular Rabbi Yossi, I think. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta. So that is the difference. If everybody could stay for another few minutes, so we could get a little bit, because we're quite behind. So, okay, new Mishnah, beautiful. So 1 second. So what came out of this Mishnah over here? That gram kibui is mutter according to everyone. Yeah. By the way, if there's an emergency in a home and there's danger to the children, obviously, or not children, any human being, any Jew, there you have to, of course.
Even without ground?
Yeah, you could Michal the whole Shabbos. Yeah, Pikuach Nefashos. all these cases here with shalosh seudot and all these things and sifrei kodesh and ksuvim nat and muktuyeh, all these questions are only right if it's not dangerous. Nochi shebol chabot.
At the end of the day, can you put out the fire or not? It could get dangerous.
From
Could.
life or death, yeah.
Huh?
From life or death.
Oh yes. It could get dangerous. Yeah. The Mishnah Berurah talks about
Take
it.
a fire extinguisher and extinguish it.
It depends on the fire. Depends on the fire. The Mishnah Berurah talks about it if you want to know exactly like how, if there's any chash, if there's any worry that this might turn really dangerous. Yeah.
But if we can leave the house and there's nobody else around,
Right.
we can't put it
If you live on a farm and there's a bunch of adults, they're sitting there, and all the way in that room over there, they see a fire starting. You get up on the table and walk out. You let it burn down. That's the Isser. What do you mean? Oh wow, exactly what I needed. I don't know how you thought of that. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
That is the Isur in the Torah. Kibui. Otherwise, there's no case of Kibui. If every time you're allowed to extinguish a fire, so when does the Torah say you're not allowed to extinguish a fire on Shabbat? There has to be a case, right? Well, you're going to say, a candle. You don't not allowed to put out a candle. You're right. There is a case. Let's say you want to go. So you want to put out a candle. There's no danger. Nothing. So you're not allowed to put it out. But in a real fire, you're saying. The Mishnah Berurah talks about it over here a little bit. Maybe we could see it soon. Okay, says the Mishnah, Nachri sheba lechabot. Ein omer lo kabeh. Ve'al tichabeh. If there's a guy that sees the fire, you don't tell him, oh, Johnny, please put out the fire. Can't tell him that because you're not allowed to ask him to do a melacha. Okay? We're getting into Amir La'akum here. But you don't have to tell him al tichabeh. If he's putting it out with the water, you don't have to tell him, hey, oh, please, I'm very religious here. Do not put it out. Let it burn. Because his resting of Shabbat is not on you. Meaning he doesn't have to rest. You just can't make him do a melacha for you. But there's no responsibility to make him stop doing a melacha. Okay? Now, where's the Isur? Rashi learns elsewhere that the Isur is in Avodah Zarah, Mimtzo chefzecha v'daber davar. You say that in Kiddush, right? It says, Im tashiv v'shabbat Mimtzo chefzecha, from seeking out your desires, v'daber davar, and speaking your normal speech. Which means you're not allowed to speak in a way of like asking someone to do a Shabbat Isur, extinguishing something. Other places, Rashi says that the reason is because a goy is like your shliach. He's your agent. And whenever an agent does something, it's like you doing it. And even though the rule is you can't appoint an agent for an Averah, if someone gets a hitman to kill someone, chas v'shalom, whose Averah is it? You say, oh, you're my shliach. If someone does a mitzvah, he says, go put this ring on that lady for me and say that you're doing it for me. So it works for me. Right? If someone asks someone to take off terumah from fruits for him, from his stuff, it works. It's a mitzvah. But for Averah, it doesn't work. If I tell you to steal, you steal. It's not my Averah, it's your Averah. Why? Because the Gemara says, one of the reasons, Divrei Rav and Divrei Talmud mishomin. Who are you supposed to listen to? The Rav, the master, or the Talmid? So he should have not listened to you when you made him an agent, so he's not really your agent, he's acting on his own accord, and therefore it's his own action. So here, what's the problem? Rashi says that the Chachamim were extra stringent when it came to Shabbat, and they said that even though it's a Dvar Averah, to tell him to do an Averah, he becomes your agent. So the reason why you're not allowed to tell a guy is another reason, that Rashi Midan is so that it doesn't turn into like midrabanan, it turns like into your action. Because he is acting on your behalf, so it's like you put out the fire. You turn the light, right? Okay. Um, I'll just say that if you're going to have a great loss, Mokim Hefsed Meruba, you're allowed to ask a guy to do a melacha on Shabbat, which is only Isur D'Rabbanan, and especially putting out a fire on Shabbat is always considered, even when you do it, it's only Isur D'Rabbanan. What do you mean? So when's the Isur D'Oraita? Remember we spoke about it? It was in your house. When you put out the fire on a thing to be able to make a good, trying to singe it, trying to make a better wick, it has to be for the wick itself. But if you're just putting out a fire because you don't want it to burn something in your house, so that's a melacha she'ena tzrich legufa, which you're not really benefiting directly from putting out. Look, when you put it out, what do you gain? Let me show me what you got. What did you create? You didn't create a better wick. There's a fire moving, it's about to burn my house. So I put it out. So it's eina tzrich legufa. So anyways, derabanan. Plus here you're telling a guy to do it. You didn't do it. That's another derabanan. And you're losing a lot of money, which anyways, according to many, it's mutar by any melacha to tell a guy to do it. So what's the problem? So the Mordechai, the Rishonim, they say that here specifically by fires they were extra machmir, because if they allow you to tell a guy to put it out, people panic about their money, and if you're allowed to do that, I'm allowed to tell a guy because they have to do. I'm allowed to do. Get a guy. There's no guy. The guy's going to put it out himself. He so goes crazy for his money. That's where people are. Okay. So the Gemara says, but you don't have to tell him to put it out. Okay. Rabotai, let me just finish the Mishnah. Oh, maybe I don't want to hold the oilam too much. I think I'm holding everybody here too late, right? David said it's a long shir. Let me just finish the Mishnah, and maybe we'll make another shir today or something later on, so we should catch up. There's nothing more geschmack, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do today? At like 7 o'clock, the best thing in the world. Pre-barbecue or post-barbecue, whatever. It's the best. It's either dessert or preparation. It's the best. A little child, a Jewish child, that wants to put out the fire, we don't listen to it. Meaning we don't allow him. Because his Shmirat Shabbat is upon us, it's our responsibility. Okay? I think we should continue maybe today. I don't know if anybody could come today. Anybody could come for a shir later on today?